This is Happy Half Hour, a Peoria Life web show brought to you by Enjoy Peoria.
Hello and welcome to Happy Half Hour. On this week's show, we sit down with the Director of Airports of the General Wayne A. Downing Peoria International Airport to talk about the benefit of flying local. Later, Pearce Community Center joins us to talk about the community center and their fall program lineup. We'll also fill your free time with some amazing events coming up this week, so sit back, relax, and let's have a happy half hour.
The Marigold Festival is a wonderful opportunity for our community to get together and celebrate.
It's a celebration of the community of Pekin, and it's honoring also the late Senator Everett Dirksen.
In 1972, we had a group of local residents that just wanted to see what they could do to bring a festival to Pekin. And Senator Everett Dirksen was from Pekin. His favorite flower was the marigold.
He would always say something like, "A rose is a rose is a rose is a rose," and then he'd go into his monologue about the marigold.
So the Marigold Festival just made sense to everyone. You can eat, you want to eat. We've got apple dumplings and pork chop sandwiches.
We've got the carnival over here. It's got all kinds of rides on it.
We have over 300 booths in Art in the Park this year. It's our biggest Art in the Park yet.
Community organizations that are out there selling things just to raise money for their organizations. I had to mention the parade. I don't think you can find any in Central Illinois that are as long as the Marigold Festival.
The Marigold Festival just brings everybody together. This is something to look forward to.
I think it's of major importance. It brings a lot of people into the community who maybe haven't made Pekin a destination in the past, and they see things here in the community that they think, oh, maybe I'll come back again. Outside people are going to see the spirit of our community and how we all come together to make something very successful.
It makes me so thankful for the community that I live in. Pekin is a friendly community, and I think they'd enjoy their time here, not just with eating their way through festive foods or shopping their way through Art in the Park, but they just enjoy being around the people that are part of this.
Welcome back to Happy Half Hour. Well, as you know, there's a ton of things to do in the Peoria area. However, you can't really enjoy what our area has to offer if you don't know how to get here. For many travelers, the General Wayne A. Downing Peoria International Airport is the first thing they see when they get to Peoria. The airport's basically our air portal to the rest of the world, with nonstop flights to 12 different destinations. Joining us more to talk about the airport is Director of Airports, Gene Olson. Gene, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
And me being a huge commercial aviation nerd, I'm happy for you to be here as well. So how have passengers recently been using the airport?
Well, we've been incredibly fortunate in kind of bucking some of the trends for airports our size. In 2017, we set 5 monthly records. So during 5 different months, we had more passengers than we ever had in that month. And then so far this year, we've had 4 monthly records. 3 times in the last 18 months, we've had the busiest month we ever had. So we keep pushing that mark up and up and up. We're kind of concerned, not concerned, but we're not resting on our laurels. We're always out talking to airlines and trying to get additional service. But so far, our numbers are up really well.
Say, you guys are doing your part, it's a matter of what comes first, the chicken or the egg. You get more passengers and the airlines start to take note, right?
That's exactly right. The airlines know when you buy a ticket, they know where you live because usually you do that by credit card, so they know where that credit card zip code is, and they know where you're getting on the plane. So,
well, I know recently there's, you talked about that there's been a lot of issues that have impacted smaller airports. This includes airline mergers, airlines, decreasing the number of flights and just adding bigger planes. How's the airport for you guys? How are you guys facing that challenge and taking those on?
Yeah, we're seeing several challenges. Probably one of the bigger ones is the pilot shortage. And people kind of poo-poo that, but there was a law, Congress passed a law a few years ago in response to an accident where they basically required all airline pilots that are flying in regional jets now have to have an airline transport pilot certificate. So what that does is it means that it basically doubles the amount of flight time that a pilot has to have before they can serve as a co-pilot on a regional jet. So there just aren't that many pilots in the pipeline, and then that regulation made it harder for people to enter the pipeline, and so we're just not seeing, pilots coming up. The major airlines hire pilots away from the regionals, and the regionals can't get new pilots, so we're seeing the availability of regional aircraft really shrinking. And it's kind of like if you were going to go to law school and then somebody said, oh, by the way, to be a lawyer, you have to have double the amount of schooling. It's gonna decrease the number of people who are going to want to go into that field. So that's one big challenge that we have.
Okay. And especially you could tell that that's a big thing for some of the smaller airports that really rely on those the regional airlines and like the American Eagles and the United Expresses of the world, or the parent companies.
Right. Out of our 12 destinations, 5 of them are large aircraft destinations. The rest are all RJs.
Okay.
And so that's a big thing for us.
Yeah. And I know another thing that a lot of people were thinking that this could be an issue for the airport was the relocation of Caterpillar's headquarters. Has that been an issue for you guys? I mean, the numbers don't lie. It looks like the numbers are getting better and better still.
We saw probably, for the first 2 months after the announcement was made, those were record-setting months. And I think people had already bought their tickets. And then we saw a period of about 4 months where the numbers were a little bit soft. But since then, our numbers have just been going crazy, and we're getting more passengers on the airplanes. I think that there's so much infrastructure in Peoria. There are plants, there's equipment, there's vendors, there's people who want to come and see their machine being built. Those people are still coming to Peoria, so basically, long story short, we haven't really seen much of an impact, and our numbers have kept growing.
I know one thing that helps smaller airports, some of these destination airlines that do like a whole destination package, specifically in Peoria, Allegiant, where it's not a business travel to Orlando or Tampa or Vegas, but it's a leisure travel or vacation travel. How does that help you guys out? When you're able to add those destination routes. Well,
if you look at our market before Allegiant and after Allegiant's probably about 25% of our market. So that's a quarter of the people who are flying now, we're either not traveling or we're traveling out of larger cities. And so they've brought that whole leisure element to Peoria that we didn't have before 2004. It's kind of hard to imagine, but Allegiant has been here since 2004, wow. So it's been quite a while.
Excellent. I know one issue that you guys have, and this is not just an airline issue, but with leakage. How has that been an issue for you guys?
Well, leakage is the term we use when somebody lives in our area or does business in our area and they buy a ticket, but they get on the airplane somewhere else. And we've done 2 studies 5 years apart, and we retain about 58% of the people who buy a ticket in our market area. The rest are going somewhere else to get on another plane. The big thing that changed over the 5 years is that the percentage of people going to O'Hare went from 21% to 33%. So the big lesson out of that leakage is that every time you do that, every time you buy a ticket and you get on the plane in Chicago, you're telling the airlines that that's where that seat needs to be. And it really is a use it or lose it situation. If leakage continues to grow, then we're going to start seeing our service decline, because the airlines know that that's happening, and you're voting with your wallet and your feet by going to Chicago to get on that plane. So we'd like to see people, not do that to themselves. Why subject yourself to the traffic jam, the parking fees, and all the rigmarole that goes with getting on the plane in Chicago when you can start your trip with a short line in Peoria, short security line. And and have a more relaxing trip.
And another thing that I know with the airport, especially with the newer terminal, getting from point A to point B, so like when you get out of the door of the car to the gate is so much, not just quicker, but it's just convenient as compared to going to like an O'Hare where, you're wandering around for a long time. At the airport,
Right.
at PIA, you go to the gate, which is right in front of you, go to the security checkpoint, which is right in front of you, and then, then the actual
Yeah.
gates is.
And once you're on the other side of security, then you don't have to worry about the security line in the big airport.
Yeah.
One of the cities that we're kind of modeling our efforts after is Rochester, Minnesota. So Rochester's the home of Mayo Clinic, which employs like 32,000 people, and they required all of their employees, with a very few exceptions, they required all of their employees to fly out of Rochester. Previously, a lot of them had driven to Minneapolis. So what happened to Rochester after that? We saw that within a month, United decided to serve Rochester where they never had before, and Delta added 2 hub cities. And within 6 months, their traffic grew by 27%. So that's what happens when you fly locally. You start to see the benefits of that. And they're experiencing the same thing you just mentioned. You get shorter security lines, a smaller parking lot to deal with. And if our lot looks too big for you, then we've got a shuttle that drives around, and you can get a ride if you want.
Honestly, it doesn't really take too long. I feel like some people think the extra, couple minutes is, but I've never had an issue there. And I know, like with some of the bigger airports now, they're making it easier for people to connect, with the, with how to strategically place the regional jets with their, some of the bigger ones for the bigger routes and the people movers and whatnot. So I feel like a lot of those things that people think about having to connect, those things are kind of going away.
Connecting is kind of a fact of life. And once you do it a couple of times, it's really kind of easy. And you learn the airports, like I've got, of all of our hubs, I've got favorite places where I like to go eat. And I try to leave enough time in my layover so I can go grab something and then finish my trip later.
Well, I'd say personally, my favorite is the Detroit Delta Terminal because it's so huge and it's modern, and they got the train that runs back and forth. And me being a commercial aviation freak, that's the coolest thing.
It's a great airport. Yeah.
So what other things are you guys doing to help with the Fly Local campaign and getting people in the Peoria area to fly out of, with you guys, other than the O'Hares or the Indies or the St. Louis's?
Our biggest piece, I think, is education, because we're really trying to get people to understand that there is a benefit to flying local and a negative impact of not flying local. And so we're trying to get out there, get the word out as much as we can, so that people understand. And it's kind of, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but because people don't think of this the same way, I'm thinking about this every day. But a lot of people didn't understand that it does make a difference if you drive to O'Hare to get on the plane, and that the airlines understand, that they know what you're doing. People, I think, didn't realize that because they're not into the nuts and bolts like we are.
Well, is there anything else I'm missing? I could talk about this stuff, for days with you, but, with timing and everything, I know we can't. Is there anything else that we're missing, though?
Well, if you'd let me do a little plug, on Saturday the 8th, we're having an open house at Mount Holly. Okay. A lot of people don't know that we own that airport as well, and we are now also the fixed base operator there. So there's going to be a couple of different schools. SIU and Lincoln Land College are going to have their aviation programs there, and we're going to hopefully have some airplanes out for people to take a look at, and it's kind of a come on in and get to know aviation a little bit, and it should be a fun thing. There's going to be food trucks there. Oh, cool. Should be a fun event.
Well, that's another thing, like having events like that, trying to get more people, not just interested in aviation or trying to find future pilots, but also getting people to know you guys and knowing more about both airports.
Right. So. Used to be, kids would hang on the fence and somebody would say, hey, come and help me wash my airplane. I'll give you an airplane ride. And with TSA's rules and regulations, that doesn't happen so much anymore. And so that kind of interaction has shifted up to Mount Holly. There's an Experimental Aircraft Association chapter up there that does a lot of outreach to people. and it's really kind of the friendlier, more fun side of aviation up there.
Awesome. Well,
Also business too,
yeah.
but.
Cool. Well, Gene, thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to learn more about the airport or some of those destinations where you can fly out of Peoria, you can head to the airport website, flypia.com. And if you're around Peoria this Saturday, make sure to head out to Mount Holly and see all the fun stuff going out there. So stay tuned. More Happy Half Hour is next.
Get out your calendars. We're about to fill your free time. Get in touch with your inner Lucy at the annual Grape, Stomp, and Harvest Festival at Mackinac Valley Vineyards Sunday, September 2nd. The Grape Stomp is for those who have the desire to emulate Lucy and get their feet wet in the wine. Contests will be held throughout the day, making this event one you won't want to miss. For more information on the event, head over to their website, MackinacValleyVineyard.com. The Pekin Marigold Festival returns for another weekend of family fun, Thursday, September 6th through Sunday the 9th. This festival is celebrating 45 years with Art in the Park, the annual parade, carnival, and so much more. Visit the Pekin Chamber of Commerce online for more information and an event schedule. Don't miss out on a great afternoon and evening of music, competition, and fun. The 32nd Annual Washington Community High School Marching Panther Invitational will be held Saturday, September 8th. 22 high school marching bands from across the state will perform in competition. Want to know about the next local concert? There is a new Facebook page that makes it easier for you. Peoria Music Live is a central resource for all the live music shows in the Peoria area. It promotes a number of shows, from open mic nights to big concerts. If you want in on the Peoria area music scene, head on over to Peoria Music Live on Facebook. Looking for more fun events? Head on over to our website, enjoypeoria.com, or visit us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Enjoy Peoria. Hey, do you like coupons? Do you like discounts? Do you like saving money? Then check out the 2018-2019 Enjoy Peoria Coupon Book. It is filled with a ton of coupons from area attractions, restaurants, stores, and more. And the book is free. Mind blown. Stop by our office to pick up your book now or check them out on our website, enjoypeoria.com.
Welcome back to Happy Half Hour. If you live in the Chillicothe area, there's a good chance you have visited or frequented Pearce Community Center. Pearce is where Chillicotheans gather to socialize, exercise, and volunteer. Joining us to talk about Pearce is Amanda Beatles, the Marketing and Sales Manager. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about what is Pearce?
Sure. Pearce is a community center. It also is a fitness center, and we're located in Chillicothe on Cedar Street. It was formerly a school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The school, they decided to build a new school, and so it was an empty building. And we had community members came together. Barb Truitt was one of the founding people that said, hey, what can we do with this building so it's not going to be vacant, it's not going to be demolished. And her vision was to create a center for all the community, that they could use it and make it a thriving community.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
And we have fall and winter coming up. I know those words are kind of taboo for some, but with fall and winter coming, what programs are you guys offering?
Oh, I tell you what, things really pick up in the fall, and we have some wonderful programs. We have our standard group fitness, and that changes quarterly. So we just announced our group fitness for the fall, and we've got our calendars out for that. But we also have some additional programs, and those programs are, we have some women on weights.
Okay.
And that's a really neat program that we have an AM and a PM. So originally we were only going to have one, but people spoke up, and they spoke up through Facebook, and they said, hey, can we have that in the evening too? So we listen to what the members' wants and needs are, and we adapt to that. So we've added a class for the evening. So
that's great.
And we also have the kids circuit and kids running. So what we try to do is provide something for everyone. So we want families, we want children, we want seniors. We want to have something available that people can come, exercise, work out, have fun. It's super important that we have fun and keep it changing.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to do the same routine over and over and over and over.
Right.
So we have a great variety of things available to all ages.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. You kind of touched base on that. Is there anything else that you'll be offering for kids and seniors in addition to the circuits and the weight training and that sort of thing?
Absolutely. We've got the Aquatics Program. So we have swim lessons and swim club and all sorts of things related to that. And it's great to have a pool available to our community, and especially for people in the winter time. So one of the things we do is have those pool parties for winter. And I've heard from people that they love going to the Chillicothe Park District for their pool, for their birthday party during the summer. And then, but the winter birthdays, it's like,
No, I can relate. My birthday's in February, and for us polar bear kids, it's really, really, you know, there's so much jealousy that you can't go to the pool for your birthday. So that's a wonderful thing that you can offer.
So we have that available. And so that's one of the beautiful things about Chillicothe in general is the willingness for the whole community to come together. So we work with the Chillicothe Park District, and we do things with the library, and as a community, we just come together and say, how can we support the members of that community? How can we make this a better place, or how can we build something greater? And that is, I think it's just the biggest benefit of being a Chillicothe resident.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have sporting leagues going on?
Oh, we do. So we have sporting leagues all year round. Right now we're in the midst of volleyball.
Okay.
And that's a real fun event. So it's just really adorable to see all the kids come in and to see like the parents follow the kids and cheer them on. So it's a family, and so it's parents, grandparents, so it's a family event. Just to watch these kids play and watch their skills increase, watch the community they build, friendships they build. It's really wonderful.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I have a little girl, so I can't wait until she starts doing things so that I can go be that mom with the button, you know, and the jacket and that sort of thing. I will absolutely be that.
It happens. It happens.
So obviously, Pearce is a wonderful, wonderful asset for the community of Chillicothe. What would you say that you have to offer for surrounding communities as well?
The same thing. So we reach out and have members all around the surrounding communities. Because we're right off of 29, it's easy access for people from Lakin and Henry, and people come in from Dunlap and all those surrounding places. They utilize our facility the same way as our Chillicothe residents. So sometimes people are stopping in to work out after work, or sometimes they come in before work, and especially on the weekends. So
yeah, absolutely, especially with that pool now that all of the city pools are closing for the summer with kids back in school and everything. Well, that's great. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to learn more about Pearce and their fall program lineup, head on over to their website, pearcecc.com. Stay tuned, more Happy Half Hour coming up.
Hi there, my name is Chef Jason Zeck of Rhythm Kitchen Music Cafe, and this is our crawfish etouffee.
So, Ashley, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up this week, and I know that Gene was talking about their event at Mount Holly. People are able to check out the planes, so some of the
It's so
yeah,
cool.
which is neat. Like they have some of the aviation programs from the state, Lincoln Land and SIU, which are like the two really big ones
Yeah.
that a lot of people don't know about. They have the big aviation
Yeah.
programs, and they'll be down there trying to get people in the aviation into the
Yeah.
into the aviation industry and get them interested in that, which is cool. 'Cause
Yeah.
I love it. And they have food trucks and stuff. I didn't know that I remember at one time that they ran Mount Holly as well. So
Yeah.
the airport authority, which is really neat. A lot of other cool stuff. I know Marigold Festival is starting up. The big
Marigold
one.
Festival,
Yeah.
that's the big one. Yeah, Pekin is going to just come alive even more so than usual this weekend for the Marigold Festival. The guy from Cheers is going to be there.
I know.
It's,
which is
it's
awesome.
Cliff, right?
Yeah, it's Cliff. Cliff,
That's
the
so
postman.
awesome.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of other cool stuff. I know he's done
Yeah.
a lot of shit like on the Travel Channel and
Yes.
whatnot. And he seems like the kind of guy you can hang out with.
Well,
for
he's
a little bit.
Cliff.
Yeah,
you want to
I
sit
know.
there and you want to
But,
have a beer and you make self-deprecating jokes.
I feel like he's like that in real life, where
Yeah.
he's just that down to earth kind of person,
Yeah.
which is neat. So it was really neat that the
We
festival.
always have to wonder sometimes, like with TV shows, movies, and that sort. I always wonder, like with certain people, like was that a stretch
yeah,
for you
like,
to portray
is that not really
character?
them? Or,
yeah, I always
and
wonder
he
about
comes
that.
off as that kind of guy that's just like Cliff
Yes.
on the show. And they got a lot of other cool stuff, and it's just in such a nice setting. Like Mineral Springs is like one of the nicest parks
Oh,
around,
it's
and a lot of
beautiful,
people,
yes.
people in Pekin and surrounding areas know that, but not everyone knows that. It's just such a nice park
really
with the
is.
lagoon and everything. And
And there's going to be a parade this weekend.
Yeah.
It's just there's going to
yeah,
be so many activities.
The parade's neat.
Yeah.
Are you going to be? I'm.
Yeah, I'll be at the
I plan
parade.
on. We'll have the mobile visitor center there, and
Yes.
some of the Enjoy
I will be
Peoria
there, waving,
people will be there. So
working
yeah,
on
say
my
hi to
queen
us
wave.
if you.
Yes.
I know the Marching Panthers Invitational. So
I know.
which if you remember band,
Oh,
that's like
yeah.
that's one of the biggest ones outside of the two state.
Yes.
I know you guys were the big ISU state tournament.
Yes,
Dunlap.
Go
was the-
Marching Gregos.
The Dunlap
right.
people were the big University of Illinois state
Yes,
tournament and stuff. But
yes.
I know like before that, the Marching Panthers Invitational is one of the real big ones. And if you
Yeah,
could
in
win that,
Washington.
it's a good bellwether for how you're going to do at state.
Mm-hmm.
So Washington's going to be packed with a lot of high school bands, and they're always fun and cool to
It's-
listen to.
Yeah, it's so neat to go because you see these high school kids and the bands are so large. You get a couple hundred kids, if not
Yeah.
more, and the work that they put in because a lot of times it starts in June.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, so you see the work that these kids put in to put together these programs that are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So totally go out to Washington this weekend and check out the hard work that
The
these kids put in.
choreography's,
Yeah.
just in itself is awesome.
Oh,
not-
absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, definitely check that out. And I know Peoria Players starts up Wizard of Oz, and I know my fiance and I want to go see that because
Yeah.
we both like the Wizard of Oz.
Obviously.
And I know Peoria Players never puts on a bad show.
No,
like
they're always
never put on a bad
yeah,
show.
it's
So
wonderful.
So really excited about that. I know I got football again this weekend, so I'm pumped about
Well,
that.
yeah, because the NFL opens this weekend.
And our Redbirds take on Eastern.
Yes.
But no, like there's a lot of fun stuff going on this weekend. And this is what I love about the fall. This is when you start getting a lot of those big weekend events, and there's
the
always
heat-
something to do.
Right, and the heat's going to break here in
Yeah.
the next couple of days,
Exactly.
so it should be an absolutely beautiful weekend. So get out there, go experience things, do something you've never done before.
Yeah.
You
Excellent.
know,
Yeah. No,
it's
I
going to be a
agree.
great time.
So, well, that's it for this week's episode of Happy Half Hour. Remember, if you're always looking for something to do, check us out on enjoypeoria.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Enjoy Peoria. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week.
Have a good day.
PeoriaLife.com.